Hello aspirants, welcome to Environment course by UPSC Experts. See, we are doing PT 365 of 2024-25, right? This is part 5 of PT 365. Let's go to PT 365 and start with the class. See, we have done till part 4 of sustainable development, right? In this class, we'll be doing part 5, that is disaster management, and part 6, that is geography, right? So let's go and start. See, this is part 5, disaster management. So first topic of disaster management is infrastructure for resilient island states, IRIS, right? Infrastructure for resilient island states, right? It is an initiative under CDRI. CDRI also we will be studying, right? Coalition for Disaster Risk Infrastructure. CDRI is Coalition for Disaster Resilient Infrastructure. Sorry, Disaster Resilient Infrastructure, right? So we'll be studying this organization also. So infrastructure for resilient island states is an initiative under CDRI, right? So recently CDRI announces $8 million funding through its infrastructure for resilient island states program to support the disaster resilient infrastructure in small island developing states. Small island developing states में infrastructure for resilient आइलैंड स्टेट्स प्रोग्राम उनको डिजास्टर रिसिलियंट इंफ्रास्ट्रक्चर के लिए सपोर्ट करने के लिए लॉन्च किया था सीडीआरआई ने, राइट? सो दैट इज द thing we need to remember, right? Apart from this, right, IRS program, right, you can just go through it. It is not that important, right? So members are CDRI with members Australia Union, right, etc. Right, launched in COP26 during World Leaders Summit, etc. Right, ये इतना important नहीं है. If you want, you can skip it, right? इतना important भी नहीं है, right? This is just one thing. Infrastructure resilient for resilient islands, IRIS is under CDRI, right? That much you can remember. Then one thing we need to understand here is about small island developing states, right? Small island developing states है, ये कौन सा states है वो समझना जरूरी है, right? So small island developing states are group of small island countries and territories that share similar sustainable development challenges, right? Similar sustainable development challenges and face similar social, economic and environmental vulnerabilities are those countries, right? इधर ये point important है. Not all small island developing states are islands. सारे islands नहीं है, right? Small island developing states सब island नहीं है. जैसे example Belize है, Guyana and Suriname, right? Suriname, right? Whatever is the pronunciation, right? Are also included because of their common characteristics. So they are not islands, right? They are not islands, but still they are included because similar sustainable development challenges and similar social, economic and environmental challenges similar to small island developing states, right? So this point you need to remember, right? Not all small island developing states are islands, right? Baki example of small island, see Maldives, these are islands. Seychelles islands, Marshall islands, Solomon islands, Suriname, Mauritius, Papua New Guinea, Vanuatu, Guyana, Singapore, etc. Right? So mostly they are small island states, but there are states which are not islands also, right? Example Belize, Guyana, Suriname, etc. Right? They have similar characteristics. That's why they are kept here, right? Then the three geographical regions in which small island developing states are located are: one is Caribbean, right? Second is Pacific, right? And the third is Atlantic, Indian Ocean and South China Sea, right? ये तीन areas में categorize किया, right? Then small island developing states were recognized as a special case both for their environment and development at the 1992 United Nations Conference on Economic and Development, that is Earth Summit, right? So Earth Summit में they are recognized, right? And that is with respect to small island developing states, right? Small island developing states, ये important and this is the most important point here, right? And apart from this, all the other information no need to study or no need to remember, right? Right? See, we don't remember unnecessary things, right? अननेसेसरली अनइंपॉर्टेंट चीजें उन पे फोकस नहीं करना है, राइट, इंपॉर्टेंट चीजें पे फोकस करना है, उनको अच्छे से याद करना है, राइट। सो मोस्ट ऑफ द क्वेश्चंस यूपीएससी भी पूछेगा वो इंपॉर्टेंट चीजों पे पूछेगा, अनइंपॉर्टेंट चीजें वैसा ही याद भी नहीं होगा, राइट, उन पे टाइम वेस्ट करके भी कुछ फायदा नहीं है, राइट। Then next is United Nations Office for Disaster Risk Reduction, right? United Nations Office for Disaster Risk Reduction. Why it is in the news? Recently, United Nations Office for Disaster Risk Reduction lauded India's role in global crisis response system, aligning with ethos of Vasudhaiv Kutumbakam. Right? India have डिजास्टर को वो एड्रेस करने के लिए मिनी स्टेप्स लिया, जैसे ऑपरेशन दोस्त, ऑपरेशन करुणा एंड ऑपरेशन मैत्री कोविड-19 पैंडेमिक के उसके लिए, राइट। यूएनडीआरआर हैज लाउडेड इंडियाज एफर्ट्स, राइट। सो यूएनडीआरआर के बारे में ये ऑपरेशंस भी याद करने की जरूरत नहीं है, राइट। सो यूएनडीआरआर, दिस इज इंपॉर्टेंट, इस हेडक्वार्टर्स इज इन जेनीवा, स्विट्जरलैंड, established in 1999, right? Mandate is to facilitate the implementation of international strategy for disaster risk reduction, right? Implementation of right? Then mission is to provide leadership and support to accelerating global efforts in disaster risk reduction to achieve inclusive sustainable development and the goal of Sendai framework. Goal of Sendai framework, right? Sendai framework is again very important from the mains perspective, right? Prelims में भी आ सकता है, right? So let's study it, right? So Sendai framework, right? Sendai framework is important. So Sendai framework is signed in 2015 and it is applicable for 15 years. So it is applicable till 2030, right? Sendai framework for disaster, right? Disaster related, right? So is a 15-year non-binding agreement. See, it is non-binding agreement having 7 targets, right? 7 targets is given here, right? We will be studying it to be achieved by 2030 and is an improved version of the previous Hyogo framework for action, right? Hyogo framework for action, right? This was there from 2005 to 2015, right? For 10 years, right? After that, Sendai framework for disaster, right? Disaster is implemented 2015 to 2030, right? So adoption, so Sendai framework is adopted at 3rd UN World Conference on disaster risk reduction, right? 3rd UN World Conference on Disaster Risk Reduction 2015 Sendai Japan में हुआ था, so that's from there we got the name Sendai framework, right? So DRR definition is given, that is systematic efforts to reduce disaster risk by analyzing and mitigating causal factors, right? Aim substantial reduction in disaster risk, losses in lives, livelihood, health and economic, social, cultural and environmental assets. Priorities: understanding disaster risk, strengthening disaster risk governance, investing in disaster risk reduction. Basically disaster को adaptation, right, risk reduction etc. सब related Sendai framework है, right? So and build back better in recovery and reconstruction, you can easily read, right? So what are the 7 targets to be achieved by 2030, right? So mains में भी questions दे चुका है already, right? So this is substantially reduce ग्लोबल डिजास्टर मोर्टेलिटी, डिजास्टर से मोर्टेलिटी है वो रिड्यूस करो, देन नंबर ऑफ अफेक्टेड पीपल वो भी रिड्यूस करो, जैसे डिजास्टर अर्थक्वेक से नंबर ऑफ पीपल अफेक्टेड वो रिड्यूस करना है, राइट? देन इकोनॉमिक लॉस in relation to GDP needs to be reduced, right? Substantially reduce करना है, then damage to critical infrastructure and services disruption needs to be reduced, right? So 4 है वो reduction, right? Reduction targets है, and 3 are increasing targets, right? वो क्या increase करना है? That is number of countries with national and local disaster risk reduction strategies to be increased by 2020, right? स्ट्रेटजीज होना चाहिए, राइट? बहुत कंट्रीज है उनका स्ट्रेटजीज ही नहीं है, राइट? अर्थक्वेक है, कैसे डील करना है, क्या डील करना है, राइट? है ही नहीं, तो वो इंक्रीज करना है, राइट? देन इंटरनेशनल कोऑपरेशन टू डेवलपिंग कंट्रीज, सो डेवलपिंग कंट्रीज का इंटरनेशनल कोऑपरेशन इंक्रीज करना, देन अवेलेबिलिटी एंड एक्सेस टू early warning systems and disaster risk reduction information needs to be increased. So these are the 7 targets under Sendai framework. So this is important for mains, right? Prelims के लिए भी हमें याद करना है, right? So next is Next is marine heat waves, right? So marine heat waves, right? So recently, ICAR, Central Marine Fisheries Research Institute, right? ICAR, Central Marine Fisheries Research Institute, founded that Lakshadweep has been affected by marine heat waves since October 2023 due to changes in ocean currents and excessive heat transfer into atmosphere causing coral bleaching. So coral bleaching bhi hua, right? So here one thing we need to remember is Central Marine Fisheries Research Institute. It is in Kochi, right? See, in exams like CAPF and all, right, they can ask these kind of questions. So it is in Kochi, right? Central Marine Fisheries Research Institute, right? So then marine heat waves kya hai? Simply it is given, right? You can read and understand. Basically, marine heat waves occur when seawater temperatures exceed a seasonally varying threshold, usually the 90th percentile for at least 5 consecutive days, right? Marine heat waves can last for weeks, months, or even years, right? So right, marine heat waves ka, right? Then rest is, see, ICAR CMFRI, right? CMFRI is Central Marine Fisheries Research Institute, right? So established under Ministry of Agriculture and Farming Welfare in 1947, and later it joined ICAR, right? Indian Council of Agriculture Research, right, in 1967, right? Headquarter is in Kochi, right? Emerged as leading tropical marine fisheries research institute in the world, right? And it monitor and assess marine fisheries resources of exclusive economic zone, including impact of climate, and right, act as repository for geospatial information on marine fishery resources. Basically fisheries resources के लिए ये करती है. Important thing is कोच्चि में इसका हेडक्वार्टर है, इन सेंट्रल मेराइन फिशरीज रिसर्च इंस्टीट्यूट, right? Kochi, right? So then next is cyclone, right? So cyclone आया, land originating cyclone name Asna was formed over Kutch coast in Gujarat in Arabian Sea, right? Then cyclones are named under the process established by World Meteorological Organization, right? World Meteorological, see, this is information important for mains, right? Mains में एक बार question आया था, right? Right? This information is given, right? In mains they have asked the question like this: how cyclones are named, right? So cyclones are named, the process is established by World Meteorological Organization. Then a list of cyclone names is prepared by tropical cyclone regional body responsible for an ocean basis. So tropical cyclone regional body say, right, there are many tropical cyclone regional bodies, right? So, right, on the basis, right, area wise, right? So panel on WMO or ESCP panel on tropical, right? One of the five, right? There are five tropical cyclone regional bodies. One of the five assigns names to tropical cyclones in North Indian Ocean, right? Its members include, right, Bangladesh, not itna important nahi hai. All the member countries provide a list of 30 names, each which are used sequentially, right? Basically, the different countries they submit names, right? उस नेम्स का लिस्ट बनाएंगे, उस लिस्ट में सीक्वेंट वाइज जो भी साइक्लोन आएगा उनको नेम देते जाएंगे, राइट? दैट इज द बेसिक थिंग, राइट? नॉट दैट इंपॉर्टेंट, प्रीलिम्स के लिए तो बिल्कुल इंपॉर्टेंट नहीं है, बस इतना याद करना है, बाय वर्ल्ड मेट्रोलॉजिकल ऑर्गेनाइजेशन इज इन्वॉल्व, राइट, इन द प्रोसेस. देन ट्रॉपिकल साइक्लोन्स के बारे में, राइट, यू मस्ट हैव स्टडीड इन ज्योग्राफी, और इफ नॉट you can simply read it from here, right? See, rapidly rotating storms, see, cyclones are, right, low pressure at the center, right, and air moves from low pressure to high pressure area, right? Right, rapidly rotating storms that are non-frontal low pressure systems originating over tropical oceans. So tropical oceans में originate होती है, they are called different name, जैसे Indian oceans में उनको cyclones बोलते हैं, right? Then Atlantic Ocean में जो originate होते हैं उनको hurricanes बोलते हैं. Then Western Pacific and South China Sea में जो originate होते हैं उनको टाइफून्स बोलते हैं, राइट? टाइफून्स, राइट? देन वेस्टर्न ऑस्ट्रेलिया में जो साइक्लोन्स होते हैं उनको बोलते हैं विल्ली विलीज, राइट? विल्ली विलीज, राइट? दीज नेम्स यू कैन रिमेंबर, राइट? विल्ली विलीज कभी मैच द फॉलोइंग में दे सकता है, राइट? देन राइट, अदर साइक्लोन्स दिया, इतना इंपॉर्टेंट है नहीं, राइट? देन साइक्लोन्स आर डिफरेंट फ्रॉम टोर्नेडोज ऑल्सो नोन एज ट्विस्टर्स, राइट? ट्विस्टर्स पे क्वेश्चन आया हुआ मेंस में, राइट? सो टोर्नेडोज से और ट्विस्टर से साइक्लोन्स डिफरेंट है. क्या डिफरेंस है? मोस्टली साइक्लोन्स वी ऑल नो, राइट? साइक्लोन्स वी ऑल नो, ट्रॉपिकल साइक्लोन्स कैसे होता है, यू मस्ट हैव स्टडीड इन ज्योग्राफी, राइट? आई एम नॉट डिस्कसिंग इट हियर, राइट? एंड ट्विस्टर्स जो है, ट्विस्टर्स ये इंपॉर्टेंट है, राइट? राइट, ट्विस्टर्स form on land. Twisters or tornadoes, right? They form on land, right? Primarily developed over land. जैसे मेजर यूएसए में होता है ट्विस्टर्स बहुत, राइट? वो कब होता है? लैंड में when cold air and warm air meets, right? When cold air and warm air meet, जैसे यूएसए में ट्विस्टर्स जो होते हैं वो it happens when warm air from Gulf of Mexico and cold air from Canada they meet. When they meet, right? There is राइट डिस्टर्बेंस, राइट? कोल्ड एयर वार्म एयर मिक्स करेंगे तो राइट कभी कोल्ड एयर नीचे जाएगी, वार्म एयर ऊपर, राइट? इट क्रिएट्स ए वेरी हाई डेंसिटी वर्टिकल मूवमेंट ऑफ एयर होगा, राइट? सो वर्टिकल मूवमेंट ऑफ एयर, सो हवा काफी डिस्ट्रक्टिव ऐसा हवा क्रिएट होगा, राइट? सो दैट इज टोर्नेडोस, राइट? यार ज्योग्राफी में यू मस्ट हैव स्टडीड, राइट? सो सिंस size is only a few hundred ads in diameter, see tropical cyclones काफी एरिया को कवर करती है, राइट? ऑन द अदर हैंड ये काफी कम एरिया को, रिक्वायर्स सब्सटैंशियल वर्टिकल शेयर ऑफ हॉरिजॉन्टल winds, right? Horizontal winds, vertical movement, then produced in regions of large temperature gradient, primarily developed over land, typically loss on scale of minutes, right? Cause localized destructions, crop destruction, property destruction वगैरह करती है, right? And with respect to tropical cyclones also, information is given, you can go through them, right? Then features of tropical cyclones का दिया है, right? You can just read, see favorable conditions for tropical cyclones, ये इस पे फोकस कर सकते हो, right? This is important, right? You must have studied in geography, right? Just simply go through, right? You need 27 degrees Celsius, then presence of Coriolis force होना चाहिए, and ये point important है, see that is tropical cyclones are not formed near equator, not formed near equator due to absence of Coriolis force, right? Equator में Coriolis force is zero, right? Coriolis force as you move from equator to poles, right? So Coriolis force बढ़ेगी, right? So equator में Coriolis force is zero, that's why बिल्कुल equator में tropical cyclones नहीं बनेगा, right? थोड़ा ऊपर, equator से थोड़ा ऊपर tropics के पास, right? So वो बनता है, उनको tropical cyclones बोलते हैं. Presence of Coriolis force होना जरूरी है, right? ये points important है. Then small variations in vertical wind speed, then pre-existing weak low pressure area, right? Low pressure area oceans में create होते हैं, right? That all you must have studied, right? So I'm not discussing geography related stuff here, right? So you must have studied in geography, नहीं है तो इधर पढ़ लो, right? Then cyclones in India, see ये सब कुछ जरूरत ही नहीं है, right? No need to remember, not even read these things, right? Then आता है glacial lake outburst floods, right? Glacial lakes outburst floods, right? So this is also topic important for mains, right? Mains के लिए important है, right? Mains के लिए. So according to recent report by Central Water Commission, glacial lakes and their other water bodies in the Himalayas have expanded their surface area. So basically glacial lakes है वो बढ़ रहा है. अब glacial lakes क्यों बढ़ रहा है? That also indicates कि ग्लेशियर्स मेल्ट हो रहा है, राइट? सी ग्लेशियर लेक्स क्या होता है बेसिकली, मान ले कुछ ग्लेशियर्स मेल्ट हो गया, राइट? मेल्ट होके वो पानी फॉर्म हो जाएंगे, राइट? पानी फॉर्म हो जाएंगे, राइट? एंड रिवर्स भी फ्लो होता है, एंड आफ्टर सम टाइम स्नो गेट्स डिपॉजिटेड, राइट? स्नो डिपॉजिट होके फिर वो लेक्स की तरह रह जाते हैं, राइट? सो कुछ लेक्स, सो दे आर कॉल्ड ग्लेशियर लेक्स, राइट? formed from deposits of water from glaciers, right? Glacier से ही river आता है, right? Then river मान ले course change कर लिया, right? But lake उधर रहेगा, right? With seasonal flow of water होगा, right? So but that glacial lake, जब glacial lakes है, right? इधर भी ये surrounded by all the ice, right? When there is burst of these lakes or when there is overflow of water in these lakes, right? ज्यादा पानी आ गया, राइट? पानी होल्डिंग कैपेसिटी नहीं है, राइट? इट वुड लीड टू बर्स्ट, दैट इज ग्लेशियल लेक्स आउटबर्स्ट. उसी वजह से क्या रिवर में फ्लडिंग होगा, राइट? रिवर में फ्लडिंग होने से काफी नुकसान होगा, लाइक नीचे एरियाज में भी फ्लडिंग होगा, राइट? सो दैट इज कॉल्ड ग्लेशियल लेक. ग्लेशियल लेक्स दे आउटबर्स्ट एंड लीड्स टू फ्लड्स, दैट इज कॉल्ड ग्लेशियल लेक्स आउटबर्स्ट फ्लड्स, राइट? ग्लेशियल लेक्स outburst floods, right? Right. So increase in area of glacial lakes in India increased by 33%. So basically because of climate change, right? And because of ill management and our exploration in glacial areas, right? Leading to destruction, right? So then A important है, see Central Water Commission, A important है. Central Water Commission, right? So it is under Ministry of Jal Shakti. Headquarters is in New Delhi, India, right? And promote integrated and sustainable development and management of India's water resources. CWC deals with only surface water, right? This point is very important, right? Only deals with surface water, while Central Groundwater Board deals with groundwater, right? So CWC, Central Water Commission only deals with the surface water. So this point will be there. Agar question आया, right? Central Water Commission पे, so this point will be there. So Central Water Commission deals only with surface water, right? So like that. Then glacial lakes के बारे में दिया है, right? You can simply read and understand it, right? So ज्यादा कुछ है नहीं, and this is also important for mains, right? So that's why I am not discussing it, right? So mains के perspective से पढ़ रहा है तो examples भी याद करो, right? Glacial lake outburst कहाँ हुआ है recently, right? Because they can ask, right? See, remember these examples, right? that ये ग्लेशियर लेक आउटबर्स्ट सिक्किम में जो हुआ, राइट? दीज एग्जांपल एंड 2013 का फेमस है ग्लेशियर लेक आउटबर्स्ट इन हिमाचल, इन उत्तराखंड, राइट? So these things. Then also remember reasons for glacial lake outburst, right? You need to remember these things, right? If you are studying from mains perspective, then initiatives taken, right? Mains के लिए important है ये सब, right? Mains के लिए try to remember 2-3 initiatives which are taken to overcome glacial lake outbursts, right? That will help you, right? So information all are global initiatives, we try to remember 1 or 2 initiatives, right? So you can write in your answers, right? So apart from this, it is not that important. Then let's go to oil spills, right? Oil spills again. See here, NGT imposes no fault liability of rupees 5 crore penalty on Chennai Petroleum Corporation for Tamil Nadu's नागापट्टिनम ऑयल स्पिल 2023, राइट? सो ये याद करना है, एनजीटी पेनाल्टी भी लगा सकते हैं, कंपनसेशन वगैरह भी दे सकती है, राइट? वी हैव स्टडीड while discussing NGT, right? Then oil spill क्या है वो डिस्कस किया, you can simply read and understand, right? Then ये important है, see bio remediation we have already studied in the class, right? Bio and oil zipper भी हमने पढ़ा, right? Oil zipper is what? 5 बैक्टीरिया का एक वो है, right? Contains bacteria that feeds on oil, right? So this is oil zipper helps in fighting oil spills. Then ये भी पढ़ना है, oilivorous S, similar to oil zipper but more effective against oil with high sulfur content. Oilivorous S, oilivorous S is important. Oil zipper and oilivorous S, right? So ये important है, right? Bioremediation, right? So right, other than this you can just simply read, और इतना वो है नहीं, राइट? ये भी, ये दोनों इंपॉर्टेंट है, राइट? यू ऑल्सो मार्क वॉट एवर इज वी आर मार्किंग एज इंपॉर्टेंट सो दैट यू कैन रिवाइज देम रेगुलरली एंड रिमेंबर देम, राइट? then landslides, right? Landslides etc you can simply go through, right? ज्यादा कुछ है नहीं, right? So you can simply read, right? Landslides के बारे में बेसिकली मेंस के लिए इंपॉर्टेंट है, ये डिजास्टर मैनेजमेंट इज इंपॉर्टेंट फॉर मेंस नॉट फॉर प्रीलिम्स, राइट? सो लैंडस्लाइड्स के बारे में यू कैन स्टडी, राइट? ये कुछ ज्यादा मुश्किल भी नहीं है टू अंडरस्टैंड. देन लोकलाइज्ड वेदर फोरकास्ट इतना इंपॉर्टेंट है नहीं, राइट? यू कैन स्किप इट, राइट? इधर एक दिया है ये, इफ यू वांट यू कैन रिमेंबर इट, अदरवाइज इट्स ओके, राइट? नॉट दैट इंपॉर्टेंट, राइट? देन ड्रॉट अर्ली वार्निंग सिस्टम, राइट? ड्रॉट अर्ली वार्निंग सिस्टम you can simply read this, right? Is a India's first real time drought monitoring platform run by water and climate lab of IIT गांधीनगर, फिर वो भी important नहीं है, right? So then next is polar coupled analysis and prediction for services, right? ये ये रिमेंबर कर सकते हैं. यू कैन रिमेंबर वर्ल्ड मेट्रोलॉजिकल ऑर्गेनाइजेशन हैज लॉन्च्ड PCAPS project to improve weather forecasting in Arctic and Antarctic region, right? So इतना कि भाई PCAPS क्या है, right? कौन करता है, उतना याद करना is necessary, और बस, right? और just go through that would be sufficient, right? Then next is parametric insurance, again not important. Then recovery reconstruction, again not important, completely skip it. Flood watch India, again not important, right? Area application. Then you can simply read this, see this one, EW for all. EW for all is, that is, IMD chief said that India is helping Nepal, Maldives, Sri Lanka, Bangladesh and Mauritius to develop EWS, part of EW for all, that is early warning for all. Early warning for all initiative, right? Announced by UN in 2022. So EW for all is early warning for all initiative announced by UN in 2022. So EW for all is what? Aims to protect everyone from hazardous weather, water or climate events through EWS early warning system, right? By the end of 2027, spearheaded by World Meteorological Organization and United Nations Office for Disaster Risk Reduction, right? So that is early warning system for all initiative, right? So, इतना याद करना है, early warning system for all, right? Then Operation IKEA, again not important, right? It is, you can remember, exercise IKEA is to improve disaster preparedness and foster strong collaboration among key stakeholders. Improve disaster preparedness. Improve disaster preparedness. Right. The next is coalition for disaster resilient infrastructure. Right. Coalition for disaster resilient infrastructure. Disaster resilient infrastructure. CDRI. Coalition for disaster resilient infrastructure. Coalition for disaster resilient infrastructure, right? So yes, CDRI we were studying, right? First part, first topic, right? CDRI वो ये इसीलिए important है because India played very important role in establishing it and its headquarter is in New Delhi, India, right? So recently, Coalition for Disaster Resilient marks its fifth anniversary, right? So it is found where UN Climate Summit 2019, right? India ने found किया, right? And it has members 4 countries and 7 organizations are its members. Sorry, 40 countries and 7 organizations, right? About, see, it is global partnership of nations, UN agencies, multilateral development banks, and private sector, right? So these are members, right? Promote the resilience of infrastructure systems to climate and disaster risk, ensuring sustainable development, right? So उसके अलावा, right? Then infrastructure resilience accelerator fund established with the support of UNDP and UNDRR, that also you can remember, right? Then infrastructure for resilient island IRES program we have already studied, right? ये इनका key initiatives है. Then global infrastructure resilience report is its report, right? Global infrastructure resilience report. Global infrastructure resilience report, right? And next is geography, right? So geography, first is El Nino and La Nino, right? El Nino and La Nino you must have studied in your geography, right? So first let's study it here also, right? So El Nino, see, they are, El Nino and La Nino are part of El Nino Southern Oscillation, right? Southern Oscillation, right? Right now, right? El Nino Southern Oscillation क्या है वो समझते हैं, right? El Nino Southern Oscillation is a recurring climate pattern. Is a recurring climate pattern involving changes in the temperature of waters in central and eastern tropical Pacific Ocean, right? Is a recurring climate pattern involving changes in the temperature of waters in the central and eastern tropical Pacific Ocean. So central and eastern tropical Pacific Ocean इधर है, right? Central eastern tropical Pacific Ocean में, right? Central and so recurring, right? Involving recurring climate pattern involving changes in temperature. It occurs mostly with changes in temperature. वो पढ़ेंगे क्या changes in temperature आएगा, right? And it occurs irregular cycles of 2 to 7 years, right? Regular नहीं है, कभी 2 साल के बाद आएगा, कभी 3 साल के बाद, ऐसा आएगा, right? Then उसमें आएगा El Nino Southern Oscillation में आएगा. We have 3 phases, that is El Nino phase, right? Then neutral phase and La Nino phase, right? So El Nino is warm phase, La Nino is cold phase, right? Are the extreme phases of ENSO, right? That is El Nino southern oscillation, right? Cycle. Between these two phases is a third phase called ENSO neutral, right? So basically we have El Nino, right? Then La Nino, right? Then third is El Nino neutral, right? So जो neutral phase है, right? So El Nino, right? From India's perspective, El Nino is negative, right? La Nino is positive, right? Because बारिश अच्छे होते हैं La Nino में, El Nino में बारिश कम होता है. Neutral is neutral, जो normal monsoon type of बारिश होती है वो होती है, right? So in neutral phase, the tropical Pacific sea surface temperature are generally close to average, right? ये temperature change का phenomena है, right? Changes in temperature का phenomena, and so, right? So El Nino में टेम्परेचर ज्यादा होते हैं, लानिनो में टेम्परेचर कम होते हैं, राइट? दैट इज इन सेंट्रल ईस्टर्न ट्रॉपिकल पैसिफिक ओशन में, राइट? एंड न्यूट्रल में टेम्परेचर्स एवरेज होते हैं, राइट? सो दैट इज द थिंग. देन लेट्स स्टडी अबाउट एल निनो. सी एल निनो मीन्स द क्राइस्ट चाइल्ड is a climate pattern associated with warming of ocean surface temperature in the central and eastern tropical Pacific. So this is, it is warming of the ocean surface temperature, warming of the ocean surface temperature, right? Warming of the ocean surface temperature in the central and eastern tropical Pacific Ocean, in the central and, so it is warming. El Nino, El Nino is warming, right? Key impacts: it suppresses rainfall over India during monsoon, brings rainfall to South America and droughts to Indonesia and Australia, right? So it suppresses rainfall over India during monsoon. Monsoon में कम rainfall आएगा जब El Nino होगा, right? Then brings rainfall to Southern America. So Southern America में बारिश होगा, right? And droughts to Indonesia and Australia. Indonesia basically क्या होता है जब El Nino आता है, जो इधर के एरियाज है, right? ये एडवर्सली अफेक्ट है नेगेटिवली, राइट? ड्रॉट्स आएंगे ऑस्ट्रेलिया में भी और इंडिया में भी, बारिश कम होगा मानसून में, राइट? एंड इंडोनेशिया में भी नेगेटिव इफेक्ट्स, बट इधर पॉजिटिव इफेक्ट्स आता है साउथ अमेरिका में, राइट? देन लानिनो. लानिनो इज रिवर्स, राइट? लानिनो रिफर्स टू द पीरियोडिक कूलिंग ऑफ ओशन. सो इधर कूलिंग ऑफ ओशन सरफेस टेम्परेचर्स इन द सेंट्रल एंड ईस्टर्न पैसिफिक, सेंट्रल एंड ईस्ट सेंट्रल इक्वेटोरियल पैसिफिक, right? So opposite effect of El Nino causes strong monsoon and above average rains and colder winters in subcontinent. So strong monsoon, above average rain and colder winters in the subcontinent. So that is El Nino and La Nino, right? Then next let's see nor'westers, right? So India is working to develop its first research test bed to study nor'westers. Nor'westers को स्टडी करने के लिए फर्स्ट रिसर्च टेस्ट लैब बना रही है इंडिया, राइट? सो उसके बारे में, सो नॉर्वेस्टर्स क्या है एंड कहां बना रही है? सी एम इज टू स्टडी thunderstorms from the formation stage, growth and propagation over eastern parts of country, covering a large area adjoining West Bengal, Odisha and Jharkhand, right? So control center Chandbali in Odisha's Bhubaneswar. Then agencies involved is IMD, Indian Institute of Tropical Meteorology, पुणे, राइट? ये भी इंपॉर्टेंट है, इंडियन इंस्टीट्यूट ऑफ ट्रॉपिकल मेटेरोलॉजी, ये कहा है पुणे में, राइट? इंडियन इंस्टीट्यूट ऑफ ट्रॉपिकल मेटेरोलॉजी, राइट? देन नेशनल सेंटर मीडियम रेंज दिल्ली में, राइट? दे आर वर्किंग एंड डेवलपिंग. देन व्हाट आर नॉर्वेस्टर्स, राइट? नॉर्वेस्टर्स आर लोकल winds which cause thunderstorms that affect the east and northeast regions of India every summer, right? Summer में local winds है, thunderstorms that affect the east and northeast, basically Bengal और Assam में, right? So in Bengal they are called Kal Baisakhi, right? And in Assam they are called Bardoli Chira, right? Bardoli Chira, right? Influences of nor'wester, destructive tornadoes, right? Destructive tornadoes आता है, right? Basically गरम हवा, right? धूल वगैरह, right? Destructive, right? Cause uprooting trees, loss of property, right? And ये है negative impact, right? And positive impact is extremely helpful for pre-kharif crops like jute, paddy, vegetables and fruits, right? Sudden drop in temperatures offer relief from unbearable midday heat, right? So this is positive, right? First positive point, and this is second positive point, right? So helpful for these crops, right? And drop in temperature से by heat से भी relief मिलती है, right? So these are nor'westers. बाकी एनसीईआरटीज में अच्छा दिया हुआ, right? और ज्योग्राफी में you must have studied, right? Then next, other local winds भी दिया हुआ है, right? And their socio economic, these all things are given in geography एनसीईआरटी, right? क्लास 11 एनसीईआरटी उधर का ही इंफॉर्मेशन है, राइट? लू, राइट? आंधी एंड काली आंधी, मैंगो शवर्स, ब्लॉसम शवर्स, elephanta showers, right? All these things you can read and you can easily understand them, right? So that's why I am not discussing them, right? So that is the thing. Now let's see next. See, next is, see, undersea features in Indian Ocean. Undersea features in Indian Ocean, that is, the names of Ashok Sea Mount, Chandragupta Ridge and Ridge of Indian Ocean have been approved by, see, this is not important, बस ये याद रखना, अशोक सी माउंट, चंद्रगुप्ता रिज एंड ये क्या है, अंडर सी वाटर फीचर्स है, राइट? These are structures located in southwest Indian ridge, right? And they are discovered by, right? ये important नहीं है, but just अगर स्टेट पीसीएस वगैरह में कुछ आ सकता है तो देख लो, राइट? बाकी ये सब कुछ भी पढ़ने की जरूरत नहीं है, ये भी पढ़ने की जरूरत नहीं है, right? No need to remember all this also, right? You can completely skip this topic also, important है नहीं. The next is geoparks, right? UNESCO endorsed the addition of 18 new geoparks to the global geoparks network. Global geoparks, जैसे geoparks क्या है, right? So geoparks, right? जो भी जोग्राफिकल फीचर्स है, राइट, विच आर यूनिक, उनको जियो पार्क्स की तरह डिक्लेयर कर सकता है, राइट? यूनेस्को इज एक्टिवली इन्वॉल्व इन जियो पार्क्स डेवलपमेंट, राइट? सो लेटेस्ट एडिशन रेजेस नंबर ऑफ जियो पार्क्स, टोटल जियो पार्क्स टू 213, विच आर स्प्रेड ओवर 48 कंट्रीज में है, राइट? एंड नो जियो पार्क इन इंडिया, राइट? इंडिया में जियो पार्क है नहीं, ये पॉइंट इंपॉर्टेंट है, इंडिया में जियो पार्क्स है नहीं, राइट? सम ऑफ द मेजर जियो पार्क्स आर, राइट, अभी जो ऐड किया उनमें ये है, राइट? देन ग्लोबल जियो पार्क्स नेटवर्क, राइट, इट इज ए नॉन प्रॉफिट इंटरनेशनल एसोसिएशन, राइट? ये ग्लोबल जियो पार्क नेटवर्क है, राइट? इट इज ए नॉन प्रॉफिट इंटरनेशनल एसोसिएशन ऑफिशियली एस्टैब्लिश्ड इन 2014. Global Geopark Network was founded as an international partnership developed under the umbrella of UNESCO, right? So it is actively involved. It is non-profit international association है, right? Global Geoparks Network, right? वो हुआ यूनेस्को के अंदर फॉर्म हुआ, right, in 2014, right? Then UNESCO Global Geoparks है, right? Genesis Geopark concept arose in mid 1990s and created in 2015, right? UGGPs, that UNESCO Global Geoparks, right, are single unified geographical areas where landscapes of international geological significance are named with a holistic concept of protection, education and sustainable development, right? Geoparks area, geological जो areas है उनको declare किया जाएगा, उनको protect किया जाएगा, right? So managed by a body having legal existence, national legislation में जो भी बना, जैसे मान ले इंडिया में जियो पार्क एस्टैब्लिश किया, राइट? कोई इंस्टीट्यूशन बनाओ, वो मैनेज करेगी उनको, राइट? देन डिजिग्नेशन इज नॉट परमानेंट, 4 years के लिए, देन उसके बाद रीअसेसमेंट होना, ये भी इंपॉर्टेंट पॉइंट है, राइट? देन बाकी ये पॉइंट इंपॉर्टेंट यही है कि भाई इंडिया में जियो पार्क है नहीं, राइट? एंड यूनेस्को इज एक्टिवली इन्वॉल्व इन इट, राइट? दैट्स इट. देन लेट्स मूव टू नेक्स्ट टॉपिक. Next topic is base flow, right? Base flow, right? Recent study has highlighted that base flow has contributed significantly to flooding of rivers in peninsular India. So flooding, जो rivers में flooding हो रहा है peninsular rivers में, उसके लिए एक important reason है base flow. अब base flow क्या है वो थोड़ा पढ़ते हैं. See, base flow is, it refers to the portion of stream flow that originates from underground discharge seeping into the streams or river over an extended period. जैसे मान ले रिवर फ्लो कर रही है, से गंगा रिवर इज फ्लोइंग राइट हियर, राइट, ऑन द लैंड, राइट? अब गंगा रिवर फ्लडिंग है, भाई वाटर है जो पूरा एरिया में, राइट, इधर ग्राउंड वाटर को रिचार्ज करेगी, राइट, ग्राउंड वाटर को रिचार्ज करेगी। अब क्या है, नीचे ग्राउंड वाटर में एक वाटर स्टोरेज का वो बना हुआ, राइट, जो जैसे हम ग्राउंड वाटर्स में, राइट, जो भी बोरिंग वगैरह लगाया तो उससे पानी खींचेंगे, राइट, अंडरग्राउंड वाटर स्टोरेज। अगर ये लीक हो गया, राइट, जब रिवर के नीचे है ये, अगर ये लीक होके रिवर पे पानी सप्लाई कर दिया, राइट, एंड उसकी वजह से फ्लडिंग, राइट, बिकॉज रिवर का फ्लो इज इंक्रीजिंग बिकॉज ऑफ इट, राइट, एंड बाकी द सराउंडिंग एरिया, जो रिवर का नीचे एरिया, उधर भी पानी है, राइट, इफ देर इज लीकेज फ्रॉम द बेस फ्लो, राइट, फ्रॉम अंडरग्राउंड टू river, so that will lead to flooding, right, flooding, more water into the river and leads to flooding, right, so that is base flow, right, so groundwater discharges into the water bodies when the water table intersects to the surface of the ground along with river or wetland contribute to their flow, right, so catchments with a higher base flow leads to increased likelihood of rapid runoff with incoming rainfall events in shorter time lags, right, so ये है बेस फ्लो की वजह से फ्लड्स हो रहा है, right, that is underground water, right, seeping into rivers and leading to floods in the rivers is called base flow, right. Then next is equatorial plasma bubbles, right, equatorial plasma bubbles, right, again important है, so let's watch a video on it, right, उसी से clarity मिल जाएगा आपको.
Ever heard of an equatorial plasma bubble? Sounds like something straight out of a science fiction novel, doesn't it? Well, it's not. It's very real, and it's happening right above us, in the Earth's ionosphere. Imagine a tube of plasma stretching thousands of kilometers into the sky, right around the equator. They mainly form after sunset when the conditions are just right. But why should you care? Well, these plasma bubbles can actually interfere with GPS signals and radio communication. So next time your GPS gives you a wonky direction, maybe you've got an equatorial plasma bubble to blame. Fascinating, isn't it? The world above us filled with cosmic wonders. Stay curious and keep exploring.
Right? So you have watched the video. So equatorial plasma bubbles, right? So a recent study of Indian Institute of Geomagnetism found volcanic eruptions cause equatorial plasma bubbles. So volcanic eruptions की वजह से equatorial plasma bubbles बन रहा है, right? So equatorial plasma bubbles normally observed in the equatorial ionosphere. So कहाँ observe होता है ये? Equatorial ionosphere, you have seen in the video, right? Are depletions in ionospheric plasma density, right, formed during post sunset hours. So post sunset hours में होती है, right? Equatorial ionosphere में are, right, they are depletions in ionospheric plasma density, right? So volcanic eruptions produced strong atmospheric gravity waves that can trigger their formation, right? So volcanic eruption की वजह से equatorial plasma bubbles हो रहा है, right? Generated equatorial plasma bubbles can impact satellite communication and satellite based technology, right? Basically ये अभी देखा हुआ पिरामिड्स आर नियरली इजिप्ट में, राइट, इजिप्ट में इक्वेटोरियल एरियाज में. सो पिरामिड्स के ऊपर आइनोस्फीयर में साइंटिस्ट हैव डिटेक्टेड इक्वेटोरियल प्लाज्मा बबल्स, राइट. सो ये बेसिकली बनते वॉल्केनिक एरप्शंस की वजह से. इक्वेटोरियल प्लाज्मा बबल्स आइनोस्फीयर में बनते हैं, इक्वेटोरियल रीजन में, सीन ड्यूरिंग पोस्ट सनसेट हावर, सनसेट के बाद दिखते हैं, राइट. सो वीडियो से भी आपको समझ में आया होगा, राइट. देन नेक्स्ट इज atmospheric rivers, right? Atmospheric rivers, again watch a video, you will understand it better.
Have you heard about atmospheric rivers, the giant sky rivers influencing global weather patterns? Atmospheric rivers are relatively long, narrow regions in the atmosphere, like rivers in the sky, that transport most of the water vapor outside of the tropics. They are the largest transport mechanisms of fresh water on Earth, responsible for 90% of the moisture movement from the tropics toward the poles. When they make landfall, they release this moisture as intense precipitation, either as rain or snow, depending on altitude and temperature. A well-known example is the Pineapple Express, which carries moisture from Hawaii to the US West Coast, often triggering significant winter storms. They are more frequent on the east coast than on the west coast, between the latitudes of 30 and 50 degrees in both hemispheres. They primarily occur during the winter of the respective hemisphere, when extratropical cyclones are most prevalent. However, recent studies show atmospheric rivers are shifting poleward due to climate change, causing more precipitation in higher latitudes and potential droughts in subtropical regions.
Right? So you have watched the video. See, I am using videos because you will understand things better. Within 30 seconds video, 1 minute video, you can understand and remember things better. Right? Pictorial memory बनेगा उससे. Right? So atmospheric rivers. जैसे rivers land में जैसे गंगा चलती है, atmosphere में भी, right? जो water evaporate हो रहा है, right? वो evaporate होके थोड़ा travel करती है, right? They travel in river like thing. You have seen in the video कैसे river की तरह जा रहा है. So those are called atmospheric rivers, right? Scientists warn that intensification and increased frequency of atmospheric rivers due to global warming is worsening extreme rainfall events and weather patterns. Right? So intensification and increased frequency of atmospheric rivers due to global warming की वजह से atmospheric rivers बढ़ रहे हैं, उसकी वजह से extreme rainfall events and weather patterns हो रहा है. Right? So atmospheric rivers called as flying rivers are relatively long, narrow regions in the atmosphere that transport most of the water vapor outside of tropics. Right? Outside of tropics से लेके जाती है, right? Atmosphere में, right? An average atmospheric river is about 2000 kilometer long, 500 kilometer wide, right? काफी लंबा है, right? And nearly 3 kilometer deep, right? ऊपर से नीचे 3 kilometer होंगे, right? So ये basically they are like rivers, right? Water atmospheric rivers. Atmospheric rivers are part of larger system of extratropical cyclones that transport heat and moisture from tropics towards the pole. So ये भी tropics से towards pole लेके जाती है, right? Atmospheric rivers are typically located within low level jet and area of strong winds in lower atmosphere. Low जो jet streams है वो 13 kilometers उसमें जाती है, so ये lower levels of jet stream areas में रहती है, right? They are largest transport mechanism of fresh water, approximately 90% on the earth, right? So that's make it important, atmospheric rivers, right? So now then here negative leap second, right? Negative leap second, right? So right, because of earth rotation, right? Researchers have shown that increased ice melting may have delayed need for adding negative leap second, right? So negative leap second, it is second that is subtracted from clocks to keep them aligned with Earth's rotation. So negative leap second में जिसे हर साल एक second leap second निकाल देते हैं, right? To align time with Earth's rotation, right? Earth's rotation, right? It is done when Earth is spinning more quickly and the length of the day is decreasing. So and जब जल्दी मूव होती है, right? So you will remove a leap second, right? And it is positive leap second, right? And it is done when length is releasing. You can easily read and understand, right? Negative leap second. Then next is zero shadow day. Zero shadow day is basically जब sun सीधा ऊपर होती है तो शैडो नहीं आती है, राइट? सो जो भी एरियाज फ्रॉम ट्रॉपिक ऑफ कैंसर टू ट्रॉपिक ऑफ कैप्रिकॉर्न में होते हैं बीच में, राइट? सन मूव्स फ्रॉम देयर, राइट? सो एवरी ईयर, सो इट हैपेंस ट्वाइस. जैसे बेंगलुरु है, राइट? जो बेंगलुरु एक्सपीरियंस्ड ए रेयर सेलेस्टियल फिनोमिना कॉल्ड जीरो शैडो डे, राइट? रेयर तो कुछ है नहीं, हर साल 2 बार होता है बेंगलुरु में, राइट? दिस टाइम few videos got viral, right? Students, they started recording and they made them viral in YouTube and other social media platforms, right? So कुछ नहीं, zero shadow day, basically shadow होती नहीं है. It occurs when the sun aligns perfectly overhead, causing vertical objects to cast no shadows, right? This phenomena occurs twice a year, right? Once during summer solstice and once during winter solstice in regions situated between Tropic of Cancer and Tropic of Capricorn, right? Right? The zero days are different at different places, right? जैसे दिल्ली में अलग होगा, right? बेंगलुरु में अलग टाइम पे आएगा, right? So because based on sun's movement, right? Then next is blue hole, right? Blue hole. So let's watch a video on this, right? From video only, you will understand it.
को मालूम है कि दुनिया की डीपेस्ट ब्लू होल कहां पे लोकेटेड है? तो पहले ये जानते हैं कि आखिर ब्लू होल होता क्या है और ये बनता कैसे है। तो दोस्तों ये बनता है कोस्टल एरियाज के पास, ऐसे पत्थरों के पास जो कि घुलने वाले पत्थर हैं, यानी कि सॉल्युबल बेडरॉक, जैसे कि लाइमस्टोन, जिप्सम, मार्बल। तो जब पानी इन पत्थरों पे जाता है तो ये घुलते चले जाते हैं और धीरे धीरे गड्ढा बनते चला जाता है और ये गड्ढा इतना बड़ा हो जाता है कि सिंक होल का निर्माण हो जाता है और इसी को ब्लू होल बोलते हैं। तो पूरे दुनिया की दोस्तों सबसे डीपेस्ट ब्लू होल है तामजा ब्लू होल, जो लोकेटेड है मेक्सिको के युकाटन पेनिनसुला के पास, चेतुमाल बे के पास, और ये है 420 मीटर गहरी। और इस डिस्कवरी ने सरपास किया है पहले के रिकॉर्ड होल्डर सांसा योंगले, जो कि चाइना में लोकेटेड है और इसे ड्रैगन ब्लू होल भी बोलते हैं।
Right? You have watched the video. That is, researchers found evidence that Tamja blue hole is the deepest in the world. Tamja blue hole, right? कहाँ है? Located in Mexico's Bay in Yucatan Peninsula, right? So that is Tamja blue hole. Tamja blue hole, right? So video में देख के ही आपको समझ में आ गया होगा. No need to read it also, right? Then next is the heat dome. No need to remember, कुछ important है नहीं. Indian Ocean Observing System. No need to remember, important है नहीं. Then Ringwoodite Ocean, right? Ringwoodite Ocean. So you can read it and understand. See, researchers have uncovered a vast reservoir of water dubbed as Ringwoodite Ocean, concealed within the Earth's mantle over 700 kilometers beneath the surface, right? So vast reservoirs of अर्थ का है, राइट? सी अर्थ, राइट, ऊपर है क्रस्ट, राइट, मैंटल, एंड बीच में है कोर, राइट? जो मैंटल रीजन में, राइट, एक ओवर 700 kilometers beneath the surface, scientists have found vast reservoir of water that is called Ringwoodite Ocean, right? Ringwoodite Ocean is a vast reservoir of water trapped within the mineral ringwoodite in the Earth's mantle. Earth's mantle में है, right? वो याद करना है, right? So ringwoodite is a vivid blue mineral formed under high temperature and pressure in Earth's mantle, right? It is one of the most typical high pressure mineral in ringwoodite, right? So ringwoodite ocean, that is there, right? Then अर्थ मैंटल के बारे में थोड़ा सा इंफॉर्मेशन दिया, राइट? यू कैन सिंपली स्किप इट बिकॉज ज्योग्राफी में यू विल बी स्टडीइंग अबाउट मैंटल मोर कॉम्प्रिहेंसिवली, राइट? देन नेक्स्ट इज आइसोस्टेसी, राइट? आइसोस्टेसी इज देयर, राइट? सो आइसोस्टेसी आल्सो यू कैन वॉच ए वीडियो, राइट? यू विल अंडरस्टैंड कि आइसोस्टेसी होती क्या है, राइट? सो
Isostasy is a term that refers to the equilibrium state of the Earth's crust. It balances the crust's weight and the mantle's buoyancy force beneath it. The concept of isostasy helps to explain the elevation of land masses and the distribution of mountains and oceans on the Earth's surface. Isostasy works through the principle of compensation. When weight is added or removed from the crust, the mantle rises or sinks to compensate for the weight change. For example, when a mountain range is formed, the weight of the mountains pushes down on the crust, causing the mantle to rise. This process helps to explain why mountains tend to be found in regions where the crust is thicker and why oceans tend to be found in areas where the crust is thinner.
Right? Again, ये basically क्या है? Isostasy is the equilibrium or balance between blocks of crust and underlying mantle, right? Underlying mantle जो basically जैसे मान ले माउंटेन फॉर्मेशन है, जहां भी क्रस्ट एक्सपैंड होगा, राइट? वो कहीं ना कहीं मैंटल कंप्रेस होके उसको कंपेंसेट करेगी, राइट? उस बैलेंस को बोलते हैं आइसोस्टेसी, राइट? सो यू कैन वॉच द वीडियो एंड यू कैन अंडरस्टैंड इट, राइट? देन है अर्थ्स मैग्नेटिक फील्ड, राइट? अर्थ्स मैग्नेटिक फील्ड के बारे में, राइट? सी रीसेंट रिसर्च ऑन एंशिएंट रॉक्स ब्राजील सजेस्ट वीकनिंग ऑफ अर्थ्स मैग्नेटिक फील्ड ड्यूरिंग एडिकेरन पीरियड, दैट इज 355 मिलियन पीरियड्स में अर्थ का मैग्नेटिक फील्ड है वो वीकेन हुआ, राइट? सो मान ले तब वीकेन हुआ, राइट? तो कभी भी वीकेन हो सकता है, राइट? सो दैट इज द फाइंडिंग. देन अर्थ अबाउट अर्थ मैग्नेटिक फील्ड, राइट? हियर आल्सो वॉच ए वीडियो, you will understand it.
How Earth got its magnetosphere. The Earth's magnetosphere is a protective shield that surrounds our planet, protecting us from the harmful solar wind and cosmic rays. But how did Earth get its magnetosphere? The answer lies in the planet's core. The Earth's core is made up of mostly iron and nickel, and it is constantly moving due to the planet's rotation. This motion generates a magnetic field, similar to a dynamo, which extends out into space and creates the magnetosphere. The Earth's magnetosphere is essential for life as we know it, as it protects us from harmful radiation and solar wind particles that could otherwise strip away our atmosphere and cause severe damage to our planet. Without the magnetosphere, life on Earth as we know it may not have been possible.
Right? You have watched the video. So that is Earth's magnetic field. Right? That is Earth is surrounded by immense magnetic field forming a region called magnetosphere. Right? जो भी Earth है, right? Earth के surrounding there is magnetic field. Right? So magnetic field है. Right? So magnetic field. राइट सो उसको बोलते हैं जो इस एरिया अर्थ के सराउंडिंग मैग्नेटिक फील्ड जो है उसको बोलते हैं मैग्नेटोस्फीयर राइट सो इट इज मैग्नेटोस्फीयर राइट अब मैग्नेटोस्फीयर और मैग्नेटिक फील्ड कहां से आ रहा है दैट इज फ्रॉम द कोर जो कोर ऑफ द अर्थ है उसमें है आयरन एंड निकेल राइट आयरन एंड निकेल दे आर मूविंग right because of the hot temperature inside the core right iron and nickel move होता है so with that movement right energy is created and with that energy electromagnetic waves or electromagnetic field is formed right ये electromagnetic field है काफी important है right to protect our earth from sun's radiations right UV radiations right and solar flares right etc अगर ये नहीं होता तो earth life as we know on earth wouldn't have been existed right जैसे मार्स में मैग्नेटिक फील्ड है नहीं राइट कुछ 4 बिलियन ईयर्स एगो मैग्नेटिक फील्ड इज रिमूव्ड इन मार्स राइट अब मार्स इज लाइफलेस प्लैनेट राइट सो दैट इज द थिंग राइट सो इट इज जनरेटेड इन अर्थ्स आउटर कोर बाय द geodynamo process here the convective energy which moves heat from the slow moving molten iron is converted into electric and magnetic energy उस जो मूवमेंट की वजह से इलेक्ट्रिक एंड मैग्नेटिक एनर्जी जनरेट होगा तो उससे मैग्नेटिक फील्ड बना राइट द मैग्नेटिक फील्ड फॉर्म्स टू पोल्स ए डाइपोल राइट सो उस मैग्नेटिक फील्ड है इट फॉर्म्स जो भी जैसे मैग्नेट में टू पोल्स होते हैं नॉर्थ साउथ पोल राइट वैसे ही इधर मैग्नेटिक फील्ड में टू पोल्स बनाती है द नॉर्थ एंड साउथ मैग्नेटिक पोल्स हैविंग ऑपोजिट पोलैरिटीज लाइक राइट बार मैग्नेट राइट अर्थ में भी मैग्नेटिक फील्ड का मैग्नेटिक नॉर्थ पोल साउथ पोल है मैग्नेटिक राइट द मोस्ट ड्रामेटिक चेंजेस इंपैक्टिंग अर्थ्स मैग्नेटोस्फीयर ऑल पोल रिवर्सल जो पोल से जैसे नॉर्थ पोल मान ले इधर है साउथ पोल मान ले इधर है अर्थ में राइट सो ये मूव भी करती है नॉर्थ पोल मूव्स राइट एंड साउथ पोल आल्सो मूव्स एंड कई बार राइट विद इन सम 3 lakhs years में दिस पोल्स रिवर्स pole reversal also happens right pole reversal so that is called as magnetic pole reversal so let's watch a video on this also right you will understand
The pole shift theory suggests that the Earth's magnetic poles can suddenly and dramatically reverse positions, causing significant geological and environmental changes. This phenomenon, known as a geomagnetic reversal, is driven by changes in the Earth's core, where electric currents generate the magnetic field. The last complete reversal occurred about 750,000 years ago. Recent observations indicate that the magnetic North Pole has been moving rapidly since the 1970s, sparking speculation among scientists about the potential for an upcoming reversal and its possible catastrophic impacts on global ecosystems and human technology.
राइट सो यू वॉच वीडियो दैट इज मैग्नेटिक जो पोल्स है वो रिवर्स भी होते हैं वो मूव भी होते हैं राइट प्रेजेंट वी हैव सीन फ्रॉम 1980 से जब से रिकॉर्ड किया तब से poles are moving and with the time they reverse right so the forces that generate earth's magnetic field are constantly changing ठीक है जो forces है वो change हो रहा है causing changes in strength of magnetic field so magnetic field का strength है वो भी change होगा right जैसे इस साइंटिस्ट अभी ये डिस्कस किया राइट विद इन दीज इयर्स मैग्नेटिक फील्ड वीकन है राइट सो मैग्नेटिक फील्ड कभी वीक होगा कभी स्ट्रांग होगा राइट देन this causes the location of earth's magnetic north and south poles to gradually shift, right? उस changes से north and south pole भी gradually shift होता है, and to even completely flip locations every 3 lakh years. So every 3 lakh years में north pole south होगा, south pole north हो जाएगा, right? So during the pole reversal, magnetic field weakens, right? Magnetic field weakens but does not completely disappear. So magnetic field कभी disappear नहीं होता, ये point important है, right? भाई weaken होता है, right? weaken होता है when during the poles reversal भी, right? but it doesn't completely disappear, ये भी point काफी important है. Right? So Earth's magnetic field and magnetic pole reversal, they are important. Right? The next is cold lava. Next is cold lava. Right? So watch a video on cold lava. Watch a video on cold lava. Right? You can simply understand. Right?
Have you heard of cold lava? You might have seen recently when Mount Merapi in Sumatra, Indonesia, erupted, causing a disaster that killed at least 43 people and left several missing. So what exactly is cold lava? Cold lava, also known as lehar, occurs when rain mixes with volcanic lava. The rain makes the lava flow quickly, which makes it hard for people to escape. In addition, the mix of rain and lava turns into something like a wet concrete, and as it flows, it picks up rocks, dirt, and other debris, becoming very dense. This dense mixture turns strong enough even to destroy buildings, bridges, and roads. However, the thing to note is that even though it looks and moves like wet concrete, the lava inside is still hot and dangerous because of a chemical reaction.
So cold lava rushed through streets of Mount Kanlon erupted in Philippines, right? Video में इंडोनेशिया में हुआ था, right? इधर Mount Kanlon, right? In fact, mains में UPSC can ask question, right? Cold lava क्या है, right? Cold lava they can ask question in mains, so remember it for mains exam, right? Cold lava, right? Cold lava, right? Basically lava के साथ पानी वगैरह मिलते हैं, right? एक सीमेंट टाइप जो विस्कस लेयर बनती है, राइट? यू हैव वॉच्ड इन द वीडियो, यू कैन अंडरस्टैंड. इसको डिस्कस भी करने की ज्यादा जरूरत नहीं है, राइट? सो कोल्ड लावा, राइट, is a dense mixture of volcanic material, debris and water that behaves like fast moving landslide. ठीक है, या तो ये कब आ सकता है, या कभी बारिश हुआ, वॉल्केनिक एरप्शन हुआ, बारिश भी हुआ, तब ये फॉर्म हो सकता है, या वॉल्केनिक एरप्शन हुआ देन रिवर के साथ मिक्स हुआ, लेक वाटर के साथ मिक्स हुआ, राइट? देन कोल्ड लावा फॉर्म हो सकता है, राइट? It occurs when water interacts with volcanic ash and debris on the slopes of volcano, right? So it remains hot internally due to chemical reactions within volcanic material, right? अंदर ये गर्म होगा, right? बाहर पानी की मिलने की वजह से थोड़ा कोल्ड लावा बोल रहा है, राइट? अंदर गर्म होगा, राइट? सो दैट इज द थिंग, राइट? मेंस में आ सकता है ये, राइट? सो देन हीट बजट, इधर अच्छे से इंफॉर्मेशन भी दिया नहीं है, यू कैन स्टडी इट फ्रॉम एनसीईआरटी, राइट? देन एक है कल्लकड़ल अगेन, it is a phenomena which we can see in Kerala and Tamil Nadu coastal areas, right? Kerala and Tamil Nadu coastal areas, basically it is essentially a coastal flooding usually in pre-monsoon or post-monsoon seasons by swell waves on southwest coast of India, right? Basically coastal water, right? Coastal region जैसे coastal areas में भाई ocean का water है, swell होगा, right? वो कोस्टल एरियाज में आएगा, राइट? फ्लडिंग होगा कोस्टल एरियाज में, दैट इज कॉल्ड एज कल्लाकड़, राइट? कल्लाकड़ल, राइट? सो दैट इज स्वेल वेव्स आर ए सीरीज ऑफ मैकेनिकल और सरफेस ग्रेविटी वेव्स जनरेटेड बाय डिस्टिंक्ट स्ट्रॉन्ग वेदर्स, राइट? सो दीज आर कल्लाकड़ल्स, राइट? रिसेंटली हैपेंड इन केरला एंड तमिलनाडु, राइट? दैट इज कल्लाकड़ल, राइट? कोस्टल स्वेल वेव्स, राइट? ओशन में पानी फ्लड होके coastal areas में आएंगे, that is कल्लाकड़, right? So with this we are done with this class. In next class we will be dealing with the remaining part of PT 365, right? See you in the next class. Bye.